Mac was out the door, racing down the hallway with Matthew in lumbering pursuit. Timing worked in Mac's favor. He had, of course, noticed the clock on the wall. The bell rang, ending the school day, and since it was a Friday, kids exploded from classrooms like buckshot from a shotgun. Mac unzipped Matthew's book bag, scattering red vines everywhere in the crush of frenzied kids. Mac had a detailed map of the school in his head. He knew every door, every locker, and every closet. He knew which were unlocked, which exits were alarmed, and where an open window might be found. He had very little concern that Matthew or Kamaro, who had now joined the chase, would actually catch him. He dodged into the chem lab and took the connecting door through to the former chem lab. The lab was being remodeled following an unfortunate explosion. He noted a ladder and the roller tray of paint that was perched atop the ladder. He placed Matthew's book bag just so, beneath the ladder. The windows were open to allow for ventilation, and the painters were on break outside. Mac slid out of the window just as Matthew rushed into the first lab. Mac crouched outside, just out of sight but not out of hearing, and waited. "Hey!" Matthew yelled. Pause. Mac heard the sound of Matthew's knees popping as he knelt down to pick up his bag. And then, thunk! Followed by a soggy clattering sound and a cry of pain. "Ah!" Matthew yelled. Mac knew he shouldn't risk it, but he did anyway, and peeked. Matthew's head was dripping with pale yellow paint. It ran down his face and into his yelling, aggrieved mouth. Kamara was half a step behind him. She spotted Mac, and was after him in a heartbeat. Across the open space between Building A and Building C, Mac found an open door. He ran into a crush of kids very similar to those he left behind. He worked his way against the flow, intending to exit by the far door, the one that led to the gym. But then, to his horror, he saw a massive blonde beast, just coming in through that very door. No way he could have known that Stefan Marr would be coming from the gym, having forgotten his gym clothes and needing, badly, to take them home to be washed. Bluff it through, Mac told himself. He smiled at Stefan and started to walk very calmly past him. 10 feet and he would be safe. Stefan didn't even know Mac was fleeing. But then Kamaro's voice, a hoarse roar, rose above the happy hubbub. "Bully emergency!" she cried. "I'm declaring a bully emergency!" Mac's eyes went wide. Stefan's eyes narrowed. Mac leapt for the door, but Stefan wasn't one of those great big guys who's kind of slow and awkward. He was one of those great big guys who was as fast as a snake. One massive paw shot out and grabbed Mac's t-shirt, and suddenly Mac's feet were no longer in contact with the floor. He did a sort of wily coyote beat feet air run thing, but the effect was more comical than effective. Kamaro and a paint-dripping Matthew were there in a flash. "Bully emergency?" Stefan asked. "You two can't handle this runt?" "Look what he did to me!" Matthew cried, outraged. "You know the rules," Kamaro said to Stefan. "We dominate through fear. A threat to one of us is a threat to us all." Stefan nodded. "Huh," he said. The word "huh" was roughly 1/3 of Stefan's vocabulary. It could mean many things. But in this case it meant, "Yes, I agree that you have properly invoked a bully emergency in which all bullies must unite to confront a common threat." "Better round everyone up," Stefan said. "The usual." Everyone meant all the other bullies. The usual meant the usual place, the dumpster behind the gym and up against the fence. "I'm going to mess up your face!" Matthew raged at Mac. He pointed for emphasis with a hand dripping pale yellow paint. "Not the face," Kamaro said. "I like his face." Matthew and Kamaro went off in pursuit of the others, while Stefan, seeming more weary than highly motivated, stuffed his sweaty shorts in Mac's mouth and dragged him outside. This is the point where Mac should have started begging, pleading, whining, and bribing. But the weird thing about Mac was that even though he was afraid of puppets, sharks, the ocean, shots, spiders, dentists, fire, Shetland ponies, hair dryers, asteroids, hot air balloons, blue cheese, tornadoes, mosquitoes, electrical outlets, bats, the kind that fly and suck your blood, beards, babies, fear itself, and especially being buried alive, he was not afraid of real, actual trouble. Which, when you think about it, is what tends to get heroes and those around them killed.